Welcome back to HBO Girls Rewatch.
I'm Evan.
I'm dysphoric.
Oh. And this is going to be season 4 recap. Oh my god, another season in the books. Are you feeling cuckoo bananas?
I am feeling cuckoo bananas because last recap we did outside Hannah's apartment, which was one of the craziest explorations.
I know. Okay, so we're going to recap all 4 of the girls, obviously. But to start us off, we really have to recap where we've gone in our life since then. Last time we recorded on the steps because we had just moved and we didn't have our new studio yet.
Yeah, we didn't have studios, so we filmed in both Hannah's location on India Street and Amelia's room, which was it's kind of one of those. My mom saw Amelia's room. It's like, oh, it's a custom room from IKEA. Like she bought it straight from in a good way. She meant it positively. Like, you know, they have like what's it called?
IKEA showroom?
Yeah, you have an IKEA showroom.
Okay, wearing this shirt, it feels so crazy.
So it was so easy for you to unpack because it's like you just had to follow a photo.
Yeah, I love to buy a room in kind of Webkinz style where you buy everything in under the one theme and then everything goes together. So when
I'm sure Webkinz didn't get that from anywhere either.
When I built up my Webkinz room, it was easy to know what to do. But since then, I've actually added a lot of new Redbubble posters to my wall. So
which is like, that's Webkinz doing. Webkinz now would have done a collab with Redbubble.
Yeah, no, totally.
Like in the pet shop.
Although I don't think so from a marketing standpoint because they're 2 different target demographics.
I actually think there's more overlap than we could even believe.
I don't know. Webkinz users don't have a ton of buying power.
Oh, honey. When I bought those Webkinz, I had power. I will say that.
Yeah, but poster power? I don't think so.
Yeah, no. This is a room I sometimes do improv in, so not to be yes and with an idea sometimes is shocking for me.
Evan has finally, 4 months after living here, decided to make their room have their clothes in it. And it's really cute. They, for so long, made the entire basement kind of their personal closet. But then we were like, what if the entire basement was actually for all of us? And then Evan was like, okay, I'm going to make a closet so crazy. It's going to have a Chinese lamp. It's going to have red lighting. And it's going to allow for me to buy more shoes I never wear.
Yeah, I think a big part about a closet, it has to grow with you. You don't have to grow with it. So I try to add as much storage as possible to it.
Amelia, clip that.
Well, for me, I'm like, my room didn't come with a closet except it has the boiler room in it, and that can't really be used as a closet unless I want to melt stuff.
I cannot begin to tell you how many people came up to me at our housewarming last week and was like, that boiler room's really scary, Amelia.
I know, but I embraced the whimsy.
Yeah, I'm like, no, but you don't understand. Evan's room needed a boiler room.
Yeah.
Or would it make sense for it wouldn't make sense for our guy.
Wait, I love whims. I'm like, it is Narnia in some ways.
I cannot stop using the word whimsy these days.
We both read it somewhere and now it's kind of stuck in our frontal.
Whimsies, it's just like fun and there's like a freedom to it. Like when you say the word whimsy, you forget about the harsh reality of our democracy. You know what I mean?
A republic democrat.
Our democratic republic.
Our democratic republic, you forget about it when you use the word whimsy.
You forget how it's not democratic.
Yeah, you forget it's election year. And you kind of just remember the Paris Olympics.
Yeah. But no, what do you think has changed for you in the last 10 weeks, Evan?
I don't know.
Okay, no worries.
No, I do. Okay, things have changed. Obviously, went through breakup. Really fundamentally cool.
Was that beginning of season 4?
Yeah, it was kind of week of.
Okay, perfect.
No, we recorded the episode and then the next week.
Perfect. Just so everybody at home can follow along.
Yeah.
So we're at week 10 of the breakup.
Are we week 10?
Well, week 11. With the Zosha app, which we hope you loved, by the way.
Yeah, so we're week 11. I'm like, it is so crazy. Okay, when I first went through the breakup, my big motivating factor in my life was like, I need to consume as many audiobooks I can in a 24-hour period every single day.
The first 3 weeks of the podcast following the breakup were a lot about you.
So many audiobooks.
Reading audiobooks, me looking at your YouTube watch history and feeling afraid.
Our YouTube watch history. HBO Girls
shared.
Rewatch, go check out the YouTube channel.
Please subscribe. And by the way, I know it's annoying and I know it's confusing and I know you're like, there's no way I need to do that. But please go on Apple Podcasts and write a quippy little review for us. We're on our hands and knees.
Wait, I think someone needs a bingo sheet at home. It's like we use the word quippy, use the word whimsy. There's so many good words. We have to get a few more words in, but those are definitely words that would be on a bingo sheet.
Okay, yeah. Let's make a HBO Girls Rewatch bingo sheet
For 3-syllable words.
Yeah. Okay.
But quippy's kind of only
But no,
two.
sorry, I interrupted. So you were breakup, and now you're what?
Oh yeah, but then you kind of rediscovered Chappell Roan's album. What's it called? Something Midwestern Princess.
The Rise and Fall of a Midwestern Princess.
Rise and Fall of Midwestern Princess, and that will replace that kind of will replace any audiobook you're currently working on. So even if you're working on creative strategies for unique individuals as an audiobook, sometimes The Rise and Fall of a Midwestern Princess will knock that out, and you're going to have to listen to Red Wine Supernova for upwards of 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Sometimes a song is more important than learning how to deal with your ADHD in a creative way.
So I know it took Hannah all of season 4 to get over her breakup with Adam. How much of season 4 felt like you were getting over your breakup? Just as long as Hannah?
No, maybe
or less?
I think there's no scope of time.
Well, you have to understand Hannah and Adam were...
how long was that whole season? How many was it? 3 weeks? Was it 4 months? You never know how long a season is, like, in actual time, because it's summer the whole show. You don't get to see a change of seasons, which usually indicates a change in time.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it was 10 weeks.
Yeah, maybe it was 10 weeks. That would make a lot of sense too. Yeah, so I think in some ways I of course will be dealing with this to the day I die. So never.
So you're still not over it?
No,
Okay.
I think I'm over it in a lot of ways. But definitely, like, I have closure around the actual individual, but I think for myself now, trying what is the aftermath of like discovering self, that I don't know if I'll ever have closure around, like, what, and relationship breakup all like leaves such a fundamental change in oneself, and like now trying to cope with that or like learn about that new part of myself, that will take some more time.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Not to me, because I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure
Your hand got so sweaty.
I'm sure to some people at home.
Wait, okay, what happened to you in the last 10 weeks?
So for me, it's kind of just like my life feels really redundant. It's like wake up, make TikToks, send emails, make a Google Sheet, Slack someone. Yeah, I'm kind of going through something where I'm like, I'm actually bored of my life in New York City and I want to move to London. So it's giving Shoshanna Japan. And I'm not even dating a suit mogul. God, I wish 80 Bryant would offer me a job. No, of course I took a giant pay cut at the start of this year. So I no longer have any money that I'm adding to my savings account each month. So that's a big change.
Are you holding the line?
What is that?
Nothing's going in and out. It's impermeable wall. Savings account's at least up.
Same what?
Like, you're not losing money from your savings account.
No.
Okay, then that's actually really big for being in your 20s.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not so bad. It's just like, am I always gonna feel so bored?
You know what you're doing right now? A rise and fall of a Midwestern princess.
It's like I listen to Chappell's music and I'm like, this is so good, but none of this happens to me. Like, it's just like I'm not really doing anything.
I'm like crazy. It's crazy. I think bored isn't always a bad thing though. It kind of just means nothing's ridiculous happening in your life.
I know. I'm like, I should just be grateful that nothing terrible is happening, but it feels like nothing good's happening either.
That can't be true at all.
It can't be true. But I'm just like people at home, like, please be honest. Like, doesn't it feel like January and February is just hell on earth and you'll never be happy no matter how many 32-year-olds are nice to you?
I don't have seasonal depression.
Okay.
But I do get sadder when it's colder. Are those things related?
You don't have seasonal depression, and by that you mean you do, was kind of the gist.
For myself. Yeah, but I could be colder anywhere. It doesn't matter the season. If I go inside a if I go in a restaurant, they're blasting the AC, I'm sadder.
I went to Mexico to find myself and I didn't find myself. And on the last day, after being vegan and doing yoga twice a day for 7 days, I walked along the beach with my tote bag and I bought like a shrimp roll on the beach alone next to this family that was eating chips in a really annoying way. And I kind of like tried to write goals on my iPad and was like, this isn't what life is supposed to be like, but here I am.
I don't understand why not. Sometimes you need to eat a shrimp roll next to a family that's having fun.
And be like
That's
filling
beautiful.
out a That Girl PDF file on my iPad Good Notes app. It's like there's something off about me and I haven't cracked a code on it. But you know what? Enough about us. We're going to cut to a quick break.
You can't be like, there's something off about me. Break. And we both figure it out.
And I think we do. Well, when we get back from the break, we're going to kind of join the escapism route of our own problems and dive into these girls' problems instead.
I just want to leave a note where it's like, we're actually really grateful for the platform we have, and it makes me, I would say, really happy. And the last few months have been really exciting because this is the biggest and most exciting time that we've had this podcast. We've gone into so many amazing guests, and so many people have been so kind and wonderful to us. So I'm really grateful for that, and I appreciate everyone that listens to this podcast so much. You guys changed my life. I love you.
So this season 4, is absolutely nuts because we get the Mimi Rose Howard, we get the Shoshanna post NYU, we get Jessa trying to be stable, and then we get Marnie off her damn rocker. What girl should we start with, Evan?
The girl there's so much to think about Jessa in this aspect, because as someone who was in therapy for 4 months, I'm like, I too wanted to become a therapist for about for the moment you do therapy for 4 months, you're like, now it's time to pass the torch. It's time for me to become a therapist. So I love watching that arc of Jessa like entering AA, and then at the end of being AA, when you finally get to talk about your feelings, you're like, now it's my turn to help other people talk about their feelings. It is one of the most natural things a millennial can do.
It is, of course, like Jessa never spoke at AA and still hasn't worked through her feelings. And that's going to go ahead and be a classic girls thing where it's like she thinks she's healed and she hasn't even reached the surface, but she thinks because she's not actively addicted to cocaine now, she's ready for therapy. And honestly, I think that's okay. Like, and it is such a thing. You go to therapy for 1 month and then you're like, I should devote my life to being a therapist. That would be so fun.
No, literally, because I'm watching my therapist. I'm like, she gets to hear me talk about this problem. That's awesome. I'm envy.
I'm like, oh, I could like sit in a cute sweater, hold an iced latte, and listen to some girl complain, and then like say a few inspirational quotes. Like, easy.
Can we talk about my therapist drama?
Oh yeah, your therapist decided to become a life coach.
My therapist essentially quit on me to become a life coach and to do her side hustle of giving ketamine therapy to teens in Long Island. Which she offered to me to come to Long Island anytime I want to get ketamine therapy. But now I can't attend her anymore because being a life coach is $200, where being a therapist is $30 because it's covered by insurance. But being a life coach isn't a real thing, so it's not covered by insurance.
I'm getting kicked off my parents' insurance in 1 month.
Is your therapist going to be under your new podcast insurance?
There's no way to know, but you know what? She's asking me to be a little bit too raw and real with her these days. So I actually prefer if I could tap out.
You're like, once it gets to the hard part, it's over. You're like, I wonder why I want to move to London.
Yeah, she's like, it seems like you're still trying to hide stuff from me. And I'm like, yeah, I have to go. But I think Jessa started this season. She's, she's out of rehab.
I know.
She's back. She's back and she's trying to be healthy and she's actually committed to feeling better. And then Hannah immediately leaves her and she's like pissed about that. And she's like, I thought we were going to like make my life better together. And so we get the highs and lows of that. But, Jessa works through it. And I feel like by the end of the season, really gets some clarity for the first time. She has a future.
Well, like, Hannah and her have not had a normal conversation since Hannah picked up Jessa from rehab. Everything else has been like a hostage negotiation.
Totally, but that's just Jessa.
Every conversation with her is a hostage negotiation.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, awesome.
What else happens to Jessa this season?
She finally is vulnerable enough to ask Adam to be her friend, who introduces her to AA.
Oh my God. She even gets a crush on a boy, Ace. But then Ace, of course, is still pining for Mimi Rose. And you know what? Jessa has enough self-respect to tap out as soon as she sees how it is going.
Well, yeah, because we were classically saying earlier that Jessa is the game maker. And so to have the game be played on her by Ace, like one-upping her ass and like doing the whole thing with Mimi Rose and Adam and like the booby trap of it all, really like, it's kind of fun to have her have a little taste of her own medicine.
It is fun that she recognizes it and is like, I'm done with this. Because in earlier season, when Marnie is trying to get with Desi, but Desi's still dating Clementine, but then Desi and Clementine end and Marnie is still kind of being played. That's how you see the difference between Marnie and Jessa, where Jessa's like, I don't want to be wronged. Whereas Marnie's like, as long as nobody else can recognize that I'm being wrong and people just think I got what I wanted, I'm cool, like feeling however I do behind closed doors.
I think it's what to really respect about Jessa. Like Marnie's so like, I want things good on paper. Like I want a hot boyfriend who's good at music, where Jessa's like, I want things to feel good for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean it has to look good on paper.
100%. I think that is such a difference between those two. But yeah, you know what? Overall, season 5, we're going to be pissed at Jessa. But for season 4, it's like, yeah, she's a little evil, but she's, you know, working through some stuff. And I think we really see some progress from her in terms of her getting clarity on a future.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is the first time in the show, like it's right at the end of the season where she's like, I'm going to become a therapist. Like that's the first time we see her do like a large statement of commitment. And as we get to season 5, she's actually like really committing to it in some regard, where it's like, that's awesome. Look at this girl. It's like, I think a big part of being in your 20s, especially 25, is like thinking you might get a master's.
Of course.
It's one of the biggest parts is like, oh, actually a BA,
well,
BS
and she's
is
of course
BS.
thinking about getting an undergrad.
Oh yeah, of course it's undergrad because she never graduated from Oberlin.
It's hard to. Hey. And it's okay, girl.
So she has what, 6 more years of school left?
Well, listen. She's on a path. It is cool that we never find out, like, where's she going to school? Who's paying for that? What's this whole deal here?
I mean, it does seem like it's in person because she has real textbooks.
Yeah. For her to have textbooks and be in Shoshanna's apartment studying is so shocking.
If I had to guess, I would say it's Hunter University. Hunter College? It's a Hunter College. It's a school on 58th Street. It's a CUNY.
Okay, well, shout out Jessa. We love you, girl. For now, Hannah. There is so much to unpack with this girl.
Oh my god, we're gonna go right into it. I mean, okay, so to start the season off, where it's like they're in this like weird little limbo period with Adam and Hannah, right before she goes off to Iowa Writers Conference, and then she has that bow tie pasta in her hair, LOL, when she's having dinner with her parents. And then she's like, I'm so excited. I'm finally chasing my dream. She thinks everything's going to be so great for her, thinking Adam's going to support her through this whole journey, even though they never talk about it and everything's been so awkward for so long. Then she goes to Iowa. Then she's like, I can't do Iowa. Comes back, doesn't tell a single person, doesn't even send a single text or post on her Facebook, assumes everything's going to be normal for her. It's not, because you kind of upped and left. Even if it was like for 3 weeks, a lot can happen in 3 weeks. Maybe it's a month, whatever it was. And then she goes ahead and like has to comfort her dad for coming out. What else happens?
So Hannah is dreaming of being a writer. She gets in her dream school. She goes to Iowa. They beat her down. She loses her mind. She gets back.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend has now fallen in love with some other successful artist. She decides to become a substitute teacher and never write again. And then she has to take on her parents' whole deal where her dad came out as gay and her mom's losing her mind. And then she's dealing with all of that. But you know what? Towards the end of the season, we see her completely heal when Adam is like, I'm ready for you back, Hannah. Hannah is like, it's over.
And the breakup of it all. Like her literally kicking Adam almost out of his own apartment at this point, and then having to literally battle royale with Mimi Rose to...
Wait. No. I will not let you say that because Hannah went to Iowa for 1 month, that's now Adam's apartment.
Well, he was inhabiting it.
Yeah, but it was hers, and it's always hers. And as soon as she gets back, she gets to rightfully take it back.
She gets it back. That's true. But
I'm like, if that was me, and like Adam was like, it's mine now, I'd be like, no, baby.
They never address what happened to, because it's one big room because he tears down the wall. I'm like, did they ever they never address if they put a flex wall up or not?
No, when Hannah goes on the date with Fran and she's getting ready with Elijah's moved into that room, and instead of a wall, it's a shower curtain.
Oh yeah, it's a shower curtain.
And he's like, I'm gonna masturbate too. Sound effect of
I know. I was actually just talking to our third roommate about how I want to tear down the wall right behind the iPad because there's this open space over there and it could be a really cool open area.
We definitely need this for structural reasons.
I think we need that beam for structural reason, but the rest is almost just plaster and a wish.
Yeah, but do we need all that electrical in our living room?
No, there's no wires in there because there's no outlets.
No, but that wall.
Yeah, it could be cool. Industrial.
What do you think she learned this season?
I actually do think she learns a lot because we kind of see her at the end of the season have one of the biggest self-growth moments out of any of the girls, where it's like Adam is now being like, I want you back. I made a big mistake with Mimi Rose. We're bonding over this baby right now. And then she's like, actually, I can't be back with you. I need to take space for me. It's like, whambo bammo, girl. Look, that is growth, if not the definition of it.
I will say, of every girl this season, I think Hannah does grow the most, but it's kind of sad for me because she was such a dreamer in the early seasons, and I feel like the weight of reality gets her down this season. And while maybe that's necessary, it also hurts my feelings.
Right.
Because, like, I miss Hannah, like, quitting GQ, being like, life shouldn't suck. Life should be whimsy every day.
Well, I'm like,
and she's like, I guess it's just like, I'll be teaching Oedipus to Maud Apatow and I'll try dating this boring guy who's nice to me, and I'll try and move forward and be there for my parents who are in weird moods.
Well, I would say the big difference between this knockdown and the other ones is that she really took time to reflect and take stock of herself. Like when she quit GQ, she just immediately was like, and now it's time for Iowa. Like there was no space, no break for her to be like, oh, what went wrong here? Let me understand that pattern so I can break it. She just continued the patterns. And now she is giving herself enough space and time to break this pattern of her just like jumping into things and then quitting them immediately.
When a writer gives up on their dreams, I get so bummed out, especially if it's a girl.
I know. And that's a beautiful part of Substack is you never have to fully give up. You can always put something online.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like we posted a clip of the Adam Hannah breakup scene, and so many of the comments that fled in were people being like, I wouldn't be as strong as Hannah. I would go back to Adam. And I do think season 1, 2, and 3 Hannah would do the same. I mean, she kind of basically did. But it's amazing to see her recognize finally that maybe this isn't the best thing for her, and we finally get a new chapter in season 5 of like, what is Hannah gonna do now that she's not like addicted to this man?
Thank you to this man. Yeah, and it's kind of, I mean, of course we end the season not really knowing exactly what's gonna happen to her.
We get her kissing Fran in winter.
Yeah, that's kind of the big reveal there. And then we presumably think she's still in her substitute
goes
job.
back to my like, whenever a woman gets divorced, I'm so happy for her because I'm like, yeah, there was nothing good about the marriage for you. The marriage was sucking. Thank God you freed yourself, girl. So it's like, thank God Hannah didn't go back to Adam, because it's like the same problems they had had for 3 seasons would rear their ugly heads once more. And it's like, unless she changed her relationship to who this person is, she'd have to be upset all over again.
I want you to drop that mic.
Mic drop. Obama mic drop. Is that who did that? Yeah.
I can't tell if that was AI or not.
Oh God, I'm going cozy mode on the couch, but I don't want anybody to see my feet.
We have to talk about Shoshanna of it all.
Oh my God, Shosh didn't graduate NYU on time. Cringe.
I mean, do you know how often it is that someone doesn't finish all their classes? There's so many. She actually went ahead and followed through, but I'm sure everyone that's listening right now knows at least one person that had 3 credits left, aka 1 class, and didn't just finish that class.
Sophia Wilson Pelton.
I know, like 8. Yeah, exactly. There's so many former, I guess, on this season. It's like there's so many people like that. They're just like, they had 1 class left, but the mental gymnastics, we have to just interview one person that has 1 class.
Okay, no, you know that classic visual inspirational quote where it's the guy chipping away, like trying to find diamonds, and he chips so far, but then he gives up. And it's like when he gives up,
I
he's
love
like
that
1 inch of like chipping away from the thing. It's so that with college, like you did so many, you're not gonna do your one glaciology course. Come on.
Thank you for making a visual for me.
Of course.
I'm like, now that you've given me that diamond example, I don't even need to talk to someone about this. I understand exactly what it is.
I am like, because I graduated during COVID, I never walked and just got emailed a PDF. I feel so Shoshanna in this.
I know, and I feel so bad because I had the opposite experience where I got to walk 3 different times.
Not to bring Gilmore Girls up, but last night I watched the episode where Lorelai graduates her community college and her parents come. And when she's on the stage, she like sees her parents proud of her. And oh my God, I'm tearing up. Wait. And it makes me sob every time. Like, I just think it's so sweet. It's so beautiful. Like, her parents are proud of her.
I know, they're so proud of her. They hire literally a whole News 12 team to video capture the moment.
Not me actually crying.
It's okay.
But it's just so like beautiful, and
I'm
it's
like, are you sure you want to talk about girls? So we could go to Gilmore Girls. This is having a much more fundamental impact on your life, clearly.
Oh God, it just gets me every time. But it is so true that it's like, as like stupid as walking is, it does make me sad that Shoshanna doesn't get to, and she just has to bicker with her stressed out parents.
No, and you know how good at NYU graduation is. They get Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they literally get Taylor Swift.
They get to go to Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built, Babe Ruth, and that Babe Ruth. That's like the nickname for Yankee Stadium.
You know, nobody tells you when you move to New York how much you're gonna have to learn about New York.
I think that could be said about every city.
I don't know. I don't know much about Texas, and I lived there for a long time.
Yeah, but wait, you do know so much about Texas because you actually never, no offense, don't give an anecdote about Texas.
Yeah, I guess I take everything I said back.
I'm like, girl, I love you. I stand for everything you believe in, but that's a all-out lie.
It's not my fault, young life.
Do you know what it is, though? It's like that was so ingrained into everyday culture, where in New York it feels more abrasive because it's like now you're going to have to learn about it on your own independently. Where it's like everyone already knows this stuff, so you're kind of playing catch up. So it feels so much more like abrasive.
It's just so crazy because you always thought like, I guess it's just like in this rewatch of Gilmore Girls, and I'm really sorry I keep bringing up that show, but all of this like college prep stuff, it's like I never knew about that. I didn't know that was real. And now that I live in New York and everyone I interact with like had an SAT tutor and was like, I'm gonna go to Vassar. It's like crazy to know that everything was so real and everybody does go to Yale. It's like,
have you ever talked to my mom about this? You know, that's her story.
Is that what?
Yeah, she wanted to go to Smith College instead, but she went to UMass Amherst. But now every single month she brings up one time that she wished she had an SAT tutor so she could have gone to Smith, and someone in her immediate family had guided her to apply to more colleges other than Smith and UMass.
Okay, I need to talk to your mom about this because sometimes I get so sad that my parents never told me to try. Like, they didn't tell me anything about college or like how it would impact the rest of my life. And it's like I went to some weird city school.
You never
in
got the book that said 506 Amazing Colleges?
No.
You never got to read that book?
Nobody told me anything about college.
You never got the book B+ colleges for B+ students?
It's like, no. I spent all of college miserable because nobody told me I was supposed to pick a school where I'd be happy. No worries though.
You wanted to do media, and it's the best school in Canada for media.
Yeah, but I'm from America. Why didn't I go to a media school in America? It's no worries.
Because it was really cheap in Canada.
I can't change the past, but I wish that I had enjoyed.
I know you said that, but I'm like, you don't believe it. That's not something you believe.
I just wish that when I was 18, 19, 20, and 21, that I was enjoying my life more than I was.
I mean, right now, you could say the same thing though.
I wish I was enjoying 22, 23 a lot more, but COVID kind of ruined them. And then 24 and 25 have been pretty good, but still awful.
I'm just like, no. I'm like, I guess everything is perspective. Right?
But anyway, so Shoshanna graduates, and she, unlike me, has a bit of an ego when it comes to getting a new job because she's an NYU graduate. So she thinks she deserves to be like a star. And she's like, I'm going to get the
NYU
perfect.
students.
Yeah.
I know we say that every episode, but I'm like, it is so contextualized here to watch an NYU student like Shoshana be like, no, I actually don't want this awesome job at Ann Taylor Loft, which is like, I would kill to work at Ann Taylor Loft and or Talbot's. Those places are home. Those places are family. Those places raised my mom and inherently raised me as well. So if they wanted me to work in the accessory department at Ann Taylor Loft, I would shake my head, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's crazy to me that she doesn't take it, but I guess that is the NYU
She thought
ego.
she was McKinsey good. McKinsey has a lower acceptance rate than Harvard, which is like, it's around 1% of McKinsey acceptance rate.
Yeah, but you know what? She's a smart girl and she works hard.
No,
Whatever.
she didn't even graduate college on time.
Yeah. Anyways,
Did she even pass glaciology? I think she failed glaciology. That's a big point of it.
I think it's cool that we see Shoshana struggle in this new way. You know, season 1 was all about her struggling with her not having lost her virginity. Season 2 was like her struggle with dating Ray Polshansky. And season 3 was her trying to have a perfect last year of college and falling short.
When you said Ray Pachansky and then you swallowed as hard as you could was so funny.
So season 4 is all about her learning the real world's a bit tougher than she imagined it would be. I mean, if you remember in season 2, Truth or Dare, she says anything's going to be better than school. Like being in the real world's going to be awesome.
And then she's like, no one tells you how hard the real world is. And then Marnie's like, actually, that's the only thing people tell you.
But it's definitely Shoshana learning for the first time that life after college is even harder. And I think her reckoning with that and struggling through her own sense of self. I think especially somebody who's been in the school system, I think this is the experience of anybody who's worked really hard in high school and college. Once you get in the real world and there's not all these grades and there's not all these structures that you were relying to determine your value or to feel confident about who you were. I think her experiencing that loss of self-esteem now that she doesn't have a regimented system for comparing herself to her peers is really taxing. And I think that's so relatable. And I think, we rarely get to see shows that show this middle place. I mean, we're always learning about people in high school or college or learning about women who have already made it in their big dream job in the city and they're working at a magazine. And I think it's so classic to be lost in New York.
It's the first show that ever talks about being 25.
Or 23.
Or 23 even. Every other show kind of skips to the 30s. I mean, I'm watching, not to talk about this, This Is Us. And the times they talk about it when they're 9 years old, when they're 12 years, or 16 years old, and then when they're 37 years old.
It's sorry, but it's so 25. Our culture's addicted to 13 going on 30. And it's what if you talked about the middle bitch?
The book is called Defining Decade for a reason.
I hated that book. The Defining Decade. I do not like that bitch's attitude. Fuck her.
Yeah, she's really entitled.
She's so rude.
She's like, you have to make as many loose connections as possible. And if you don't have a job you actually kind of hate right now, you're going to hate the rest of your life.
I will say, if we zoom out, she is girl boss version of how to win friends and influence people.
No, she's so much worse because that's really nice. That guy is actually really... Well, they've done 18 editions to that book, so they've had a lot of time to kind of figure things out.
Is that guy not dead?
He's dead. Andrew Carnegie.
Oh, I love Carnegie Hall. Never been.
No, different Carnegie family, I think.
There's 2 Carnegies?
There's a lot of Carnegies, actually.
I never met one.
I've never met one, but I've seen their grave site.
So Shoshana ends the season by A.D. Bryant offering her a job in Japan. And she decides to take it, which I think I'm really proud of her. I think, she is so eager to explore the world. That's something that we've always felt from Shoshana, is that she's curious and eager to learn new things. So we get to see her really take this leap.
Well, I really think it's interesting because this show does an amazing job of showing where people's careers are at 25. It's either you have this job that's so all encompassing of your life where you literally have to move to Japan or dedicate 80 hours a week to it. And that's the one version of a career, or something so abstract that could only be defined as scientist as something called freelancing or trying your best.
Yeah, that is so true. My first full-time job post-grad was working full-time at that startup, and it was the all-encompassing thing where it's all I did was think about that. My life revolved around that. There was like, it was like top priority, and it literally like there was nothing happening outside of that. Like that was the whole focus, and it's like I had to do that to like get the jobs that I have now.
My first JB was the same thing.
You're just gonna skip the O.
Oh, it goes crazy.
You're like, I have to shorten the word.
Well, I had
job.
to say JB so then I can go, oh, because job one was at Q Diagnost.
Quest Diagnostics.
Quest Diagnostics, where I was 23. The two people in my role
weren't you working there when this podcast began?
No, I the first episode, yes. Second episode, no. No, because we started this in March.
You know what?
So actually,
you were working your new contract gig.
I was working my new contract role, which I also got let go from because they at the end of the contract, I had it for 2 months, and then they're like, actually, you don't have enough experience for this role. So I was so good at the interview phase where I was like, and I know what I'm talking about, and then I was so bad at the execution because no one ever taught me how to do anything at my first job. But I was actually, for me, that actually at first it was really upsetting to get fired, but then I kind of came around where it's like I'm an amazing actor because I conned like 40-year-olds into thinking I could do something, even at 24 years old. And usually the other people that hire for this role were like in their mid 30s, but I at 24 was able to trick them.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
You always I'm not mean or not, I'm not trying to gaslight.
No, I just mean I'm jealous to have the skill to like be able to sell myself. I feel like I always undersell myself, and I feel like you're really good at being like,
well, I knew I had to do what I had to do to get the role.
Yeah,
and I just said things, and like, you know what, I said the right things, and actually shows you have to have a certain level of knowledge to say the right things.
Totally.
Because I was inspired by this one woman who I had an informational interview with, who never had been to an aquarium before, but really wanted a job working with fish and like studied marketing in college, or even she studied English in college, but she wanted a marketing role at an aquarium. Or actually, I'm so sorry. Can I back it up?
Mm-hmm.
This girl from England, she changed my life because she told me the story one time in an informational interview where she really wanted to work with fish at an aquarium and with seals, but didn't study that. She didn't study marine biology in college at all. But she spent 2 days before the interview reading every single book and didn't leave the office of the marine biologist until they hired her.
Whoa.
And you can get whatever you want as long as you have the confidence and like at least know what to say for 24 hours.
And we're sorry to that one girl on TikTok that can't even get a barista job.
Oh, times are so tough right now to get your first job. Oh.
Overall, I'm so happy for Shosh.
No, I'm so happy for our girl.
But it does break my heart when she's dating the suit mogul and like doesn't believe in herself.
I know, but sometimes.
But even though she doesn't, she does still yell at him in the interview because she's pissed.
Well, Marnie and Shoshanna actually have a really interesting parallel in this season, where it's Marnie's able to go to Desi and be like, "Hey, I want to be in this relationship. I'm so committed to being in this relationship," because she has the confidence from getting the validation from Ray being like, "I want to have sex with you." He's like, "I don't want to be in a relationship, but it's like, actually, I kind of do love you," and she can feel that. So she has enough confidence to go up to Desi and be like, "Hey, I want to be in a relationship with you." And Shoshanna kind of is in an unconfident place, but then she is being boosted up by this suit mogul who's like, "You're awesome, you're amazing, you can do whatever you want because you're a badass B." And then she's able to get this job in Japan because she's now found this level of confidence through a man. And they're both finding validation through external sources that like somewhat lead to positive things, but also don't exactly lead them into places they exactly want to go. It's just like an interesting parallel where it's like, if you can find validation from another person, it can give you a certain level of confidence for a certain amount of time. And that's such a real thing.
Right. This kind of parallels like your experience.
Yeah, but I'm actually more confident of.
Because you went through it?
Because I went through a relationship. I'm like, now I can actually see myself as a sexual human being, which I didn't have that experience before. And I'm like, oh, my body's made for something other than typing on a computer and talking into a microphone. Or going for 12-hour walks. There's more there. So yeah, it's sometimes you just have to believe in yourself enough to believe in yourself. Can I drop my mic?
Say that one more time.
Sometimes you have to believe in yourself enough to believe in yourself.
I don't get it, but I support
like
it.
It's like the same thing as like being a writer for Hannah. Like sometimes like being a writer is just thinking enough of yourself as being a writer. Like that is one of the hardest parts, is like actually getting over the what's it called, when you don't think you're actually capable, like you shouldn't have that imposter, like being an imposter of a writer. Like that's one of the hardest parts of anything. It's just like getting over the bump of like, I don't deserve this. I don't believe in myself in this way. And just like having enough energy to believe in yourself is a beautiful thing.
100%. I think that's so like so many people like want to move to a big city and like pursue their dreams, but there's like the people that do it are the people that make themselves believe it could actually happen and are like that delusional. It's like, yeah, you really have to just like trust that you're gonna figure it out.
Literally.
And it's so hard to create that mindset for yourself when you come from a place and are surrounded by people that don't have that mindset. And so shout out to anybody in their 20s who's like having big goals and really having to work through like their own taught doubt surrounding those goals. Like I think the hardest thing is never the actual thing you want to do, but it's your mindset around the actual thing you want to do.
Well, exactly.
Okay, now let's dive into Marnie. God help her.
So Marnie begins at this beginning of the season being like, I don't want to be with Ray. I want to be with Desi after I met him. Like, he is the one for me all the way. I don't care that he says Clementine. I'm going to try my best to like weasel my way in there. I'm going to knit him a hat so he can remember me even when he's not with me. And then we kind of move into this place where Marnie's now being like, and so now she's starting this music career with Desi, but the idea of them being a couple is presented to him more and more and more, and she really likes that idea, and she really likes this hot musician, and like really sees herself in this really idyllic way where it's like, we are a beautiful music couple who's both dating in our performative sense and in our real sense as well. And it's and so it sounds amazing on paper for her, so she's really pursuing this. And that's kind of the growth of it, where it's like she's kind of just being like, I want things that are good on paper, even in this less traditional lifestyle, which is very interesting, where she kind of gave up being like, I want a traditional job, to being like, I want to be a musician, but still having the level of being like, I want a checklist that makes sense, which is interesting.
I really relate to Marnie this season in that it's like she's somebody who is striving for stability, but then has these creative aspirations and is trying to, like adjust like her need for order into a field that's so unorderly. And I think that it's so hard when you're like somebody who wants to follow all the rules, but then has these kind of like whimsical ones to try and marry those two successfully. And this is a drinking game. How every time we say whimsy, you have to take a shot of green juice. So Marnie this season, it's a whole nother round of her wanting the things she can't have, getting the things she couldn't have, being mad at the things she has.
Whoa.
And it's so classic girl in their 20s to want something so hard, get it, and then be miserable. I mean, tale as old as time, I fear.
I really do think that's a big thing you learn in your 20s, where it's like the things that look good on paper aren't necessarily the things that would make you happy. Like having that perfect job, having that perfect boyfriend, having this life that we're told in Americana classical sense is so good for you. Actually, the things that make you happy are the things that make you happy. It's kind of that simple. And I wish we could be taught that like untraditional things can still be the source of all hap.
Marnie and Desi, this whole season's, their whole arc, whatever, I think we see Marnie happy in this relationship. She feels so excited that she's finally getting to create art. I mean, remember when she was with Booth Jonathan and she's like, this is so cool. I'm living the dream of like having a cool artsy boyfriend. And this is like a better version of that.
Well,
so it's
good on paper.
Yeah. So it's still on.
I don't know if she's happy.
You are addicted to saying good on paper today.
I love that term. Well, my whole thing is I don't know if she's actually so happy. I think she's externally happy because again, she like to steal the words of Lena, it's like she won the prize like of Desi when he's finally like committing to her. But that whole argument before where it's like, did you leave me by did Clementine break up with you or did you break up with Clementine? And he's like, I hate to use that word breakup. Like it was mutual, but like Clementine basically broke up with me. So it's like he just ran to her in desperation after Clementine broke up with him, Desi. So she's like kind of like pissed off in this moment, like it did not work out the way she wanted. But then she has this moment where like they're embracing each other and she's like, oh wow, I got the prize. And then like the juxtaposition of her then smiling. But it's like that again is external validation.
Yeah, I mean, Marnie, all of her weaknesses show themselves, rear their ugly head again this season. Like, she's just so addicted to like trying and chasing the things she wants. And when she actually has something, she can never enjoy it. And we see that with the constant fighting with Desi. And then Desi really is being a frustrating character in her life. And instead of like acknowledging that or like reflecting and being like, I'm constantly being agitated by this guy, she is so swept up when he proposes, and she's so swept up in his grand gestures of like, I love Clementine, I want to be with you, and like, oh my god, I'm sorry that I believe in our band so much, but I had to spend through again, and oh my god, I love you so much, I never want to be without you. Like, it's so easy when you're a young girl for a guy to make a big gesture and you to be like, okay, I believe him, or else why would he do this? And then end up like hurt and whatever. But Marnie's a pretty good fucking friend this season.
Oh my god.
Besides, like, the only big thing where it's like, oh, Marnie sucks as a friend was when Hannah is like sobbing in her apartment post Adam, and Marnie's phone was off. Like, it's like as soon as Marnie saw the text and call, she ran over with Chinese food. So I'm like, are we really gonna dock her that bad for being a terrible friend?
No, that does not make her a terrible friend. She just has boundary with technology.
She's the only one that woke up early to help send her friend off to Iowa.
Exactly.
Come
they
on.
kind of broke a vase together.
And they broke a vase.
Because she's sitting on the luggage.
Oh, they broke a vase. Yeah. I'm still not over, and I know we said it in our review episode about this, but when Hannah comes back and it's the boyfriend thing, it's like, yeah, can we ask her about her writing dreams? Because that's a fresh on my mind too.
I know, no one asked her, but I do love when Marnie's like, are you taking a real shower or a fake shower?
Classic.
I love that.
Oh my god, her speech to her with that, you're like, yeah, Marnie is an amazing friend.
Marnie knows a lot. She's actually the one paying attention the most.
Yeah, like, for all of Marnie's bad qualities, she does have some good ones.
Yeah. End it. And she's got some good ones, period. Wait, should we touch on Mimi Rose of it all?
So we covered all four girls, but honey, what would a season 4 recap be without a deep dive into Mimi Rose Howard MRH? Love
Sorry,
that damn
I just
girl.
yawned so big.
It's okay. The listeners didn't hear.
But the viewers did.
I don't know. When you're watching like a YouTube podcast, you're pretty much not looking at it. You just glance at it every once in a while from Candy Crush.
That's so true. I love CC.
Me too. I just passed the really hard level. I'm really fucking
Which
proud
number?
of myself. Like 689.
What? You are on 689 of Candy Crush?
And I had to start from the beginning 4 years into having it.
You're really good at Candy Crush.
It's kind of all I have.
I know. See, that's a negative thought cycle that we're trying to break this year.
I know. I feel like this podcast episode is an amazing episode for listeners to really dissect like where I'm at and where you're at and how I'm actually in a bad spot.
That's okay.
But it's okay. So is MRH. I mean, her asking me about my name thing low-key sucks and she knows it.
Okay, I actually think she's in an amazing spot. I would argue. Did you know it's the same apartment building as Booth Jonathan?
Yeah, girl. We watched the same bonus features.
I know, but I always had that thought, but I never found out for sure.
They filmed Mimi Rose's apartment in the same apartment as Booth Jonathan. I sound so bored and mad.
Sometimes facts are boring and mad. You know?
Mimi Rose Howard, girl, I love you, in love on Netflix, so I'll let you have it. I love a Gillian Jacobs moment. She really freshens things up this season, does she not?
Are you pro or neg?
Mimi Rose Howard?
Yeah, Mimi Rose.
Negative, obviously.
Wait, I'm so pro Mimi Rose.
No, Adam needs to learn how to be fucking alone.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with her. And she actually kind of does that. She's kind of girl boss extraordinaire. and not in a negative
we
way.
posted the abortion clip on our Instagram and TikTok,
Oh,
and
God.
it's still for the last month. We just get like anti-abortion
Yeah,
pro-lifers
it did
in
make
the
it to
comments acting.
Republican Twitter as well, and some Republican tweeted and got 3 million views. That clip.
Oh yeah,
On
some
Twitter.
woman who helped the Supreme Court pass illegalizing abortion once more quoted it and was like, "This is why I do what I do."
Yeah, the woman who literally broke down Roe v. Wade kind of was like, and here's a clip of Adam and Jillian Michaels.
Gillian Jacobs.
Jillian Michaels is a girl I kind of know.
Jillian Michaels is the tiny bodybuilder girl on The Biggest Loser.
I kind of know her.
Yeah, I was like, that's why I want to explain and place for you who that is, because I want to clarify if you know her. Because if you do, my mom had like Good Housekeeping or some weird like magazine where she was the cover, and we kept it in our guest room bathroom for truly my entire childhood.
Definitely like Women's Health. She was always
it was Women's Health for 12 years. Health. For 12 years of my life, every time I used the guest bathroom, I was like, "There's Jillian."
There's some amazing articles about how to make like a sweet potato in there. How to do
it's
something
like
with a yoga ball.
Culture.
Every single issue of Women's Health from like 2008 to 2014 had like one page dedicated to yoga ball workouts.
I love a yoga ball workout.
Okay.
I once got detention in middle school because my advisory teacher had one of those chairs that's a yoga ball, and they're technically
a chair that's a yoga ball. So a yoga ball.
So it's a yoga ball in like a
oh, there's
frame.
A circle underneath it, right?
Yeah, and there's actually like a back thing.
Oh, I've never seen this.
They're for pregnant women, but
or your
they
teacher
can be
in third grade,
or for Mr. Partial. Name drop. Anyways, Mr. Partial's masculinity was so fragile that he gave me detention for being like, "Isn't that a pregnancy chair?" Me asking a factual question got me detention because men in the South are fucked up, and that's why I'm so bruised right now, just in general. It's because it's like men are fucking insane, and I don't trust them.
Oh my God.
And the Hinge date I went on last week went really well, and I don't believe in that.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's like someone I like don't really know but kind of know. And our whole community's rooting for this person, but you're like, it was too good to be true.
Yeah, like anytime I go on a first date and the guy's really nice, I'm like, "You're a fucking fake ass little bitch." I don't trust you for a single second, Ted.
Ooh, Tad. More like it.
Oh my God.
Gay.
Should we talk about Tad being gay?
Wait, we have to do Mimi Rose.
Okay, really quick. Mimi Rose.
I can go off.
It's so cool to see a girl in the show Girls love herself, not need a man, and be creatively fulfilled. 3 things none of those 4 girls have.
Yeah, that's why I think she's awesome.
It's so cool to introduce that as a comparison. And maybe Mimi Rose is a little bit older. Maybe it's like a look into like what these girls might become once they work through all this bullshit.
She's like the 25-year-old that has... She's a 25-year-old that never had to work, like struggle too hard.
Right. She's like the girl who posted one TikTok and is now like a personality.
Right. You know what it is? I'm sure she struggled when she was 19. There's so many people that like you can get away with not struggling when you're 19 because you just like evolve into the ether of like college and be like, this is good enough. But people that really had to do the work when they were in their teen years / early 20s are so much better off at 25. And none of these girls had to do that. They all like got to have, well, I guess Jessa kind of goofed off. They all had a lot of fun when they were 23. So it's harder for them when they're 25. And sometimes you're like, it's so good to preserve the innocence of childhood, which you can in like the college years, but also in the same regard, sometimes it's awesome to grow up and get what you want a little bit sooner too.
It is cool how much MRH is the crazy girl, you know, that went to your school that loves playing games and like all the boys are swooning. This one girl, I don't remember her name, but her last name was like Noble at my middle school, and she was new to town, and she came in and all the guys swooned because she had like pretty hair and pretty eyes, and it's like she wreaked havoc on every girl in our grade.
There's something so powerful to being new in town and already being good at something.
Oh my God, when it's like the new girl and she's pretty, people freak the fuck out.
My one tip to anyone wanting to start stand-up comedy or art or literally anything you want in this world, perfect it somewhere else and then come to New York City.
Totally.
Like, that's a genius. They didn't see the day in and day out of growth. Their first impression was something amazing off like they jump. It's like, do that for yourself. Like if you want,
it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah, because you can learn so much more here.
Yeah,
just food for thoughts.
But yeah, Mimi Rose, do you think she's a good artist, Evan?
Yeah, but I think everyone's a good artist.
That's true.
I think as long as you have like a little bit of earnesty in your art, you're doing a good job. Like yes, I do think it's like a little bit like boyerish, like performative to like have this work of art where it's like you have to ask someone their name and like figure out their story. Like yeah, that's all great.
Do you think Adam and Mimi are a good couple?
Yeah, I have this thought in my head, and I don't know if it's true or not. I really don't. But and I feel less and less this way every way, but I'm like, do you think every single person on earth could theoretically be the perfect couple if there's enough like work done or like and the exact right advice was given to them?
No.
Okay, you think some people are fundamentally incompatible?
Yeah, you think anyone could partner up and it could work if they worked hard enough?
Like if just like they were given every single tool to succeed.
I guess for thousands of years, most marriages were based on like money and the personalities would be made at work. So I guess, yeah, but it's like, yeah, I think it could technically work, but one party is always going to be suffering.
Like are people that what is it? Someone sent an article. Are people in arranged marriages just as happy as people that are in marriages for love? Like, is there science between that? Well, I do think your friends should have to pick your relationship because fundamentally, your friends actually know you better than you know yourself. So I think your friends should pick your relationship. So blind dates, if your friends setting you up with someone, like that's actually a really good idea because your friends kind of have your best interest.
Our third roommate set me up on a terrible blind date.
Wait, but that was actually circumstantial.
Okay, well, isn't everything a circumstance?
No, because the guy was new in town and you both said the same sentence at the same time. Which is, I want to kiss someone. The circumstances where you want to smooch.
Sabrina, I'll never forgive you.
No.
Kidding.
LOL.
Love you, crazy girl.
Yeah, so overall, I'm so pro Mimi Rose. If I could meet her in real life, I would do anything I could to be on her close friends.
On her close friend story, Mimi Rose is somebody I would want to know tangentially, but not be close friends with.
Well, I think we talk about
Tad.
Do we want to talk about Ray? Okay, listeners at home, we don't know when this episode will come out, but we do cover Ray going through his political era in our live podcast episode. So just wait a few weeks for that to come out, and then we'll talk about Ray there more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's a way better job than we could ever do right here on this couch today.
Okay, yeah. So we'll save Ray. But really quick, it is cool when dads come out of closet.
I do think lies are bad, but I think the thing where people are like, it's a waste of life, you didn't get to be your true self. I'm like, your sexuality is only so defining a part of your life. And like he was still able to have this amazing relationship with Lorraine and like raise an amazing child and still have an amazing career where he got like the only thing about like having sex with men was like only a small part of what the story would have ever been. It breaks my
heart that Lorraine is like,
it's much worse for her.
The entire last 4 decades have been a sham. And I'm like, I don't think it's a sham. I don't think everything that happened was false. I think it's just, there's a certain level of like what a marriage is and what building a family is that has nothing to do with like the sexuality of your partner. And I think to think that everything is soured or untrue or false when a situation like this happens is such a negative way to look at things.
I know it's a classic breakup situation with someone who's being broken up with and someone's being like the premeditation of it all. Like Tad's had presumably years to think about themselves being gay and like what that would look like and having the real vision of it all. So like where Relenus is all coming her at once and now she's unbeknownst to her, she's to now reimagine her whole life, which is such a harder position to be in.
It is so hard. And I think the way that it's paralleled in most 20-somethings life is like the classic trope of like a girl has a serious boyfriend for like 3 or 4 years and then they break up and she's like, I just wasted 3 years of my life. And it's like, in some regards, totally. But I think there's a better way of looking at it and being like, that was just that. But I know girls will lose themselves in relationships so much in their 20s that it can feel like that, where it's like, I spent all this time like caring about my boyfriend's band and like his needs that I didn't even think about myself. But I think because you have that experience and come out of it and reckon with that, it jet sets you into a future where you are thinking about who you are and what you want, and you would never have that much clarity of thought having never been through the things that you went through.
Yeah. Literally, it's like, is there actually a way to waste a life?
Any closing words, Evan? Any hopes for the new season?
Oh, I mean, this is only my 5th time rewatching the show, so I hope everything goes perfectly and everyone gets exactly what they want.
I cannot wait for Japan's show. Let's fucking go.
I know. Wait, I have something controversial, but I'll wait to say it.
Okay, and to hear that controversial thing, you're gonna have to keep listening to us each week. Thank you all
Thank
so,
you so
much
much.
for another amazing season. But we love you all so much. We'll be back next week with season 5.
Bye.
Bye.